Hi class, this is the last video of Unit 2. This is 2.05 parameters. So music parameters, this is how we're going to describe the music. So at this point we've talked about the building blocks and how to build it, but now we're going to learn how to describe it. So we're going to be learning specifically about tempo, articulation, and dynamics so that you can describe a piece of music. So first we're going to start with tempo. Tempo is the Italian word that means how fast or how slow. So if it's really, really fast, then you're going to feel that in the music. Or it's going to be really slow. So grave in our chart over here, this is the Italian word that means very, very slow and solemn. Think grave sounds almost like the word grave, slow, solemn. And all the way up to prestissimo, which is as fast as possible. Now, every single tempo marking corresponds to a BPM or beats per minute. And you'll see it marked in music in a couple of different ways. First, in this middle bubble, you'll see quarter note equals 120 or quarter note equals 70. You'll have the beats per minute. So you will have 120 quarter notes a minute. And that's the beats, BPM. Or you can see a half note equals 70. And you'll have 70 half notes in a minute, and that represents the BPM. The other way that you'll see it like this. Sometimes you'll just see the tempo word. You'll see presto instead of this. Each of those tempo words corresponds to a BPM, and you can Google them. There's a specific set range of BPM that matches that tempo marking. Other thing you can go type into Google is look up metronome. Let me put that word right here on the screen for you. It is a metronome. Now, a metronome traditionally is this lovely little device right here. And the metronome kept the beat, and it uses weights to move this little swinging arm back and forth to keep the beat. Now, the higher you slide the weight up the bar, slower it ticks. The further down, the faster it ticks. But there are virtual metronomes out there that are free that you can play with, that you can set to different tempo markings and BPMs just to see how those different tempo words feel. When you change the tempo of a song, it really changes the mood or the feeling of it. And so some tempo words, ritardando means to slow down. Accelerando means to speed up. And it's not pronounced accelerando, it's accelerando, that double C in Italian's ch. So accelerando means to speed it up. Think about the word accelerate. You're accelerating the music. A tempo means back to the original tempo. A tempo, back to the beginning. And so I'm going to play 3 different clips. I'm going to first play a tempo piece, the original tempo. I'm going to play a piece that has been ritardando, it's been slowed down. And I'm going to play a piece that is accelerando, it's been sped up. And I want you to listen to those 3 pieces and tell me how changing the speed changes the mood.
A side step right left to my beat. I like the moon rock with me, baby. Know that I got the heat. Let me show you 'cause talking shit. Side step right left to my beat. Get it, let it roll. A side step right left to my beat. I like the moon rock with me.
The next music parameter that we have is dynamics. So dynamics, this is how loud or soft a piece of music is. And we can go from our softest to pianissimo, which, yes, it very much bothers me that it is not first in the chart, all the way up fortissimo, which is a double F. M stands for mezzo, which means medium. So MP is medium soft. Mezzo forte, medium loud. Then we have forte piano, which means you're going to be really loud and soft. And then sforzando means you're going to suddenly put an accent on it. It's real sudden. Crescendo, this is the term that means gradually louder. So you're going to gradually get louder. And so and then diminuendo, you're going to gradually get softer. Think of this for crescendo. Think of it as a greater than or less than symbol. And so in math, we have the greater than symbol. What's bigger is always kind of at the mouth of the greater than symbol. What's smaller is always at the small end. Same thing for music. If the crescendo is going this way in the music, if the symbol's going this way, if it's getting bigger, the music is getting louder. If it's getting smaller, like in the diminuendo, then the music is getting bigger. So in written music, to determine what dynamic level you're going to be at, you're going to look for these symbols right here. That's what's going to be written in the music, and they're typically going to be written above the staff to tell you how loud or soft that the music is suggested to be performed at. Now, I say suggested because if you've ever performed music or been in an ensemble, this is usually left up to the director's choice, but this is the suggested. This is what the composer really wanted. The next music parameter category we have is articulation. So articulation is the how. So we have words like accent and glissando and marcato and staccato. This is the how. So an accent means you're going to put just a little bit more force on it. So if I'm speaking and I'm going to accent a word, I'm going to put just a little more weight on it. The next one I want to focus on is right here, and this is legato. And legato means nice and smooth and connected. And so if I'm going to talk very legato, everything's gonna be connected, and that's very hard to keep up in normal conversation. The next one I want to focus on is staccato. Now, staccato is very short and choppy. The definition here says detached, so it's very separated. There's space in between. So if I'm going to talk staccato, everything will have space between. It's very, very separated, very choppy. So articulation, this is the how. And so in music, you will see abbreviations from this column. So staccato, you'll see STCC, but you will also see these symbols. So staccato is usually marked by a little dot. Legato is usually marked by a slur line underneath. Sometimes you will see the word legato, but it's typically marked by a slur. Accent is usually like this little V. Oh, it almost looks like a crescendo marking that's like just like a little bit right there. Just give it a little extra. Now that we have learned the note letter names, we've learned about the staff and the rhythm and the accents and the tempo and the dynamics, you may not be able to fully read a piece of music. Think about music as a foreign language. You've gone through basic vocabulary. You might not necessarily be fluent, but if I were to give you a piece of music, you should be able to look and say, I know that that's a tempo marking. I don't necessarily remember what it means, but I know that's a tempo marking, or I know that's a time signature. I don't remember exactly what it means, but it's a time signature. That's about where I want you to be right now. Is I want you to be able to recognize the pieces, the big picture categories. If you remember back in the course, if you go under content, you can search for those rhythm and melodic studies, and you can practice doing some of these. Practice circling the tempo marking. Practice circling the dynamics. Practice circling what the accents are. Practice doing those things and recognizing what it is. Have a great day. Please let me know if you need any help.